Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Representative, for being so patient, for staying so late. Last thing I heard was we killed them really young, so it's okay. I also heard that you can hardly ever see the body parts, so it's okay to kill them. It's the last thing I heard. I've heard so many, not so much incorrect things today. I've heard so many inhumane things today. Consider the testimony of a doctor who just justified killing a human being because you can almost not even detect the body parts. This is a to-scale model of an 11-week-old child. This is within the first trimester. This is the 90% that the doctor was talking about. When the child is 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, younger than this, I promise you, you can still see the head, you can still see the arms, you can see the organs. I'll go over that a little bit in my testimony. Today I heard that abortion is health care. For who? Who is abortion health care for? For the baby? Would you actually look an unborn baby in the eyes before he's aborted and say, your health care is coming? That was a doctor that said abortion is health care. That same doctor, I'm going back about 5 hours now, so bear with me. That same doctor said, you don't believe in science. Science is a fact. Aside from the absurdity of that statement, which actually proves she doesn't know what science is, because after you perform science, there's something called scientific philosophy that every scientist engages in. This is where you debate the merits of your science. But let's talk about science. I could sit here and I could bore you until about 5 a.m. with embryologist after embryologist, after doctor, after scientist, after embryologist, with quotes from medical textbooks, from their own work, from medical journals, conclusive scientific evidence that the fetus is a human being, like you, like you, like you, and like me, a human being, human DNA. Smaller, yes. Younger, yes. Human being, yes. So we want to talk about science? You won't find one scientist, one doctor, one embryologist. You won't find one who will contradict this statement. A fetus is a human being. Just as human as you, just as human as me. You won't find one. So you don't believe science. Science is fact. A weird statement, but if you want to talk science, let's do it. You find me your guys who want to come against my guys and say that a fetus is not a human being. Find me one in the whole world. That's conclusive science. So when we're talking about this issue, we're talking about killing a human being. You can justify anything in the world that you want. This country justified chaining up a man because of the color of his skin, whipping him to work, and making him a piece of property like a cow. We justified that for centuries. You can justify anything. But do you have the guts to stand on philosophy? Do you have the guts to stand on the foundation of this country? Moral principles that don't move back and forth with your opinion? I'm going to present to you a hypothetical situation. A 25-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman come together. And they have sexual intercourse. They come together, they take their clothes off, they engage in the sexual act. These two adults know that sex creates a human being. They know that. Of course they do. They're adults. They do the act, the sexual act. 5 weeks later, the woman comes to the man and says, I am pregnant. They discuss their options. They decide to go down to 111th Point Street to the Planned Parenthood and kill the child, kill the human being. A suction machine is placed inside the womb, 30 times more powerful than the vacuum you have at your house, and the baby is essentially sucked to death. The remains of that child, maybe you can see their arms and maybe you can't, I don't care. The remains of that child are then poured into a basin and they are drained down into the Providence sewer system, where they will join tens or hundreds of thousands of other children who have been dumped into the Providence sewer system, your waste and with my waste. What hyperbole from the crazy pro-lifer. What do you think happens to the human parts? You think the baby just evaporates? What happens to her? She's in the sewer system right now. Here's the question. Is what I just described justice? Is that justice? When two adults decide to have sex and they know that sex creates human life, and when they create human life, they come up with $500 to have him shredded and drained into the sewer system? Is that justice? Let me give you another hypothetical. A husband and a wife, you up, Rep? A husband and a wife want to get pregnant. They want to get pregnant. So they have sexual intercourse. The woman comes to the wife comes to the husband and says, I have great news, I'm pregnant. It's the greatest news in the world, honey. I'm so happy, I'm overjoyed. This is the best day of my life. 10 weeks later, the blood work comes back. They find out that the child might have Down syndrome. And then they discuss their options. They find out Planned Parenthood will kill a child all the way up until 19 weeks. They're 17 weeks. So they make the appointment, they go down, and they have their child. This time the vacuum won't do. They're going to do that procedure that we've heard so far, where they pull them apart piece by piece. Here's the question. Is that justice? Is that justice when you kill your baby because he might have Down syndrome, or maybe he definitely has Down syndrome? Is that justice? Is killing handicapped people justice? Lest you forget, your job is to secure justice for all the people in the state. Lest you forget that. The hypotheticals I just gave you are really important. Here's why. They represent 96% of all abortions that happen down there on Point Street. 96%. 96% represent situations in which they just don't want the baby, so they kill him or her. There's no rape, there's no incest, there's no life of the mother. There's a human being, they don't want the baby, so they kill the baby. 96% of all abortions that happen in this state, in this country, at 111 Point Street, are what I just described to you. Is it justice? If it's not justice, and you're listening to your conscience, then do something about it. Stop letting innocent human beings get ripped apart and thrown into the sewer. You don't kill people who are inconvenient. You don't kill people who are inconvenient. There are many, many deep problems that people have when they come up against an unwanted pregnancy. I don't mitigate that for a second. Here's what I say though. Killing an innocent person is never the solution to a hard problem. 5343 is just a gigantic human rights violation. And we've heard plenty of testimony from people who've gone into detail, who are much smarter than me, who have gone, your own lawyer for the pro-choice movement said that it needs revision. It gives sweeping power to the abortionists and the abortion industry. It's a human rights violation. But for anyone who supports 5343 or may have written it themselves, or other bills that justify abortion, which is the killing of an innocent human being, I want to ask you a question. This may sound familiar to you. And I want to get your take on this. Do you believe this statement? All men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You believe that statement? You believe in those words? All men, created equal, and they possess an unalienable right to life. It means you don't acquire that right over time because of how old you are, or the color of your skin, or how much money you have, or the gender that you happen to become. All created equal, unalienable right, and we made it the first one on the list just in case you missed it, with the right to life. Representative McEntee, you said you can't believe we're here 45 years later defending unborn children. I want to make a promise to you today. We will be here 450 years later if you insist on killing unborn children. If you insist on killing innocent human beings, we will be here for 450 years defending them because we believe in the Declaration of Independence. You will be here justifying killing them. I know you will.
Thank you, sir. Are you?
No. Father Nicanor mentioned his experiences of women who simply felt they were alone. I want to testify to the truth of that matter. Now, I often go down to Planned Parenthood on the sidewalk and I try and talk to these women and try and give them a smidgen of hope before they make a decision that they can't take back, before their baby is gone. I want to testify that he's absolutely right about the hopelessness that is in their eyes. And I want, if one of those women is listening today, either live today or sees this video, you are not alone. We love you, and we will help you. There are organizations in this state that will give you financial, medical, spiritual, parenting help, free baby products. We will help you. We will help you adopt that baby out if you think you truly cannot raise him. But I want to say this, you will never, ever regret holding your baby in your arms and looking into his eyes. I promise you, you will never regret that moment. And I ask every representative here, go home and read that part of the Declaration of Independence. Look into the mirror and say, do I believe that?